What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today is yet another collaboration beer, this time between the Fifth Frame Brewing Company, and they're out of Rochester, New York, and Blood Brothers Brewing, and they're out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and this is their Blood Bath and Beyond. So they're calling this one a cherry vanilla cola heavily fruited sour that comes in at 6% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just over 2 weeks old. So a collaboration between Fifth Frame and Blood Brothers, and I'm here for it. Now, Blood Brothers just started getting a distro into New York State as of a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so. I've not picked up any of their stuff, so I thought I would start with a collab between them and Fifth Frame. And I've seen a lot of these like cola sours over the years, and I never tried one myself, so I thought this would be a good time to do so. And I love cherry cola in general. I'll tell you a little story as I crack this one open. Here in the Buffalo, New York area, we have a fast food chain called Mighty Taco, kind of in the vein of Taco Bell. And they have, to me, the best mixture of Wild Cherry Pepsi known to man. Kind of like, you know, how people talk about like McDonald's having the best like Coke and Sprite when it comes to the mix. That's kind of what I think of their Wild Cherry Pepsi. I get it every single time I go there. It's a must. So yeah, I really like cherry cola in general. I also like cherry Coke. Grab a paper towel here because my hands got a little bit sticky out of that. So this is going to have one of these murky kind of looks to it. As you see, this pours out. Yeah, that looks like, you know what this looks like? This looks like cola syrup or something. It just has that really deep, dark, like off brown color. You can see the pectin from all of the fruit puree, probably from the cherry and whatever else they're using in this one, the vanilla as well. Hold it up to the light, can't see through it, very murky and turbid. It doesn't look great, honestly. It kind of looks like, I'm not going to say what it looks like, but in the Fifth Frame glass, I think it looks pretty sweet. Not really. It actually still looks gross, but hashtag proper glassware. Anyway, let's get a nose on this one. Yeah, so that has, to me, a, you know, cherry cola kind of nose. It has more, though, I think, of like an authentic, like sour cherry kind of feel to it, as opposed to like a sweeter cherry. I mean, I know like Pepsi says wild cherry, but like this is definitely more sour than a cherry cola from the cherry aspect. It definitely has underlying cola, vanilla. Yeah, they're going for like a cherry vanilla cola. And I do enjoy cherry vanilla Coke. I don't know if they still have cherry vanilla Pepsi, but cherry vanilla Coke is good, but I still prefer cherry Coke over it. But yeah, I mean, it's unmistakable. It smells like, to me, more so cherry cola than cherry vanilla cola. The vanilla is there, but it's a little bit more nuanced, and I don't know if I'd pick it out if I was doing this blind. Yeah, I mean, there's so many crazy beers nowadays and so many different beverages like this that are getting thrown out there, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I'm curious to see if this one works, so let's get into it, everybody. Cheers. That's quite tasty. I've thoughts. I have a couple different thoughts. Go back for another taste, and we'll talk about it a bit. Two things are kind of throwing me off, and not because of the style. The style is a heavily fruited sour, so you expect a thick, kind of creamy body and mouthfeel, and that's what I'm getting here. The body on this one is medium to medium full. It's thick. It's syrupy. It definitely plays the role of what they're going for stylistically. However, these flavors, when you taste them normally in a soda pop, it's not thick and syrupy and over the top like this, right? There's more of a carbonation, which brings me to the mouthfeel. This is very mildly carbonated, almost, I won't say flat, but there's just a little bit of prickly carbonation going on. It's very mild. This is more super soft, smooth, and creamy. And I think that's what's kind of tricking my mind right now. I am drinking this thinking about, you know, like a Wild Cherry Pepsi or a Cherry Coke or a Cherry Vanilla Coke. And the body mouthfeel are something completely different than what my brain normally processes these flavors being from a body and mouthfeel standpoint. But it's really tasty. So let's go flavors here. Right at the tip of the tongue, the cherry hits me. It's sweet, it's sour, but as it passes on through the palate and finishes, The cherry ramps up. It finishes with a firmly sour cherry kick on the sides of the jaw here, puckering to some degree. There's a huge cola presence. Like, it's unmistakable. Definitely, tastes like an off-brand cola as opposed to like a Coke or a Pepsi. And there's this underlying vanilla kind of characteristic that is, again, very nuanced and subtle, but it's there. I would say, again, this drink's more like a cherry cola as opposed to a cherry vanilla cola. I mean, they kind of nailed it, to be honest with you. Like, for what they're calling this beer, this is like a 4.75 out of 5. Like, I think if there was a little bit more vanilla presence here, I mean, you pretty much nailed it. But personal preference, it's kind of fucking weird. I enjoy it, but it's weird. Actually going to pour a little bit more in here because, with these, usually the sludge at the bottom changes it up. I'll say this. It's sweet, but to me, it's not cloyingly sweet, and that's because of that firm sourness on the back of the palate. There's also about a slight acidity at the back, too. Slight dryness, but it's definitely sweet throughout the palate. So kudos to them for having this not be cloying, at least to my palate. Could be for some, but for me, it's not because of that sourness. I like that the emphasis on the cherry, but I think for me, I'd like that cherry ramped down a little bit. Maybe the cola flavor and the vanilla to come a little bit more to the forefront. Like, if this was a 5 out of 5 stylistically, I would definitely bump my rating like a quarter point. Let me go sip. I'm in between two ratings. We'll see. I didn't do much. This is the way I think about this one. Is this a fun novelty beer? Yes. Would I buy another can of this to just drink like for leisurely purposes? I don't know. I think if they were to ever redo this, I would like to see a little bit more carbonation and the body knocked down a little bit to replicate a cherry vanilla cola in beer form. As it is, the body's kind of detracting from my enjoyment to some degree, but they fucking pretty much nailed the flavors for the most part. Dialed down the cherry a little bit, up the cola and vanilla, and I think this is perfect in terms of the flavors. But that body mouthfeel, knock it down a little bit. So, like I said, this is about 4.75 out of 5 for stylistically, as far as the style goes, it's a 4.75 out of 5. Words. Anyway, rating. I'm going to give a Bloodbath and Beyond, by the way, fantastic name. Like, kudos, it's just a fantastic, it's a fantastic thing. What else is there to say? I am going to give this a low 4.25. I'm going to go 4.15. I was debating a high 4 or a low 4.25. I'm 100% going with that low 4.25. I just think the uniqueness, at least to my palate, I'm sure there's a bunch of breweries doing stuff like this out there, but for me, it's just a fun kind of novelty beer. This is probably a beer I wouldn't buy too often. If they did like different variants of it, I would definitely give them a go. If you pick this one up and you're in the Western New York area, just keep in mind that the body and mouthfeel are not what you're expecting, or maybe you are. If you see heavily fruited sour, maybe you are. But for me, even though I knew what to expect, it still just doesn't work as well as I would like. But still, 4.15 out of 5 is a great score because this is fun. I will drink the rest of that and wish that it was a little bit more carbonated. This is where I wish I had one of those soda streams and just pump it a couple times and all of a sudden we got a lot of carbonation. Price point availability. I think this was $25 a 4-pack at the brewery. I paid $7 for that can at Brewed and Bottled in Lewiston, New York. So to pay 75 cents extra for a single can all day, every day, this way I didn't have to buy an entire 4-pack because I really didn't want an entire 4-pack. For a single can for $7, I'm fine with that. But your mileage may vary if you see this anywhere outside of Western New York, or maybe even Western New York. Might be some places charging $8, $9, $10. Maybe some places charging $6. I don't know. And the availability, I'm pretty sure a Fifth Frame is only in Western New York. I don't know if they have an online web shop now or not. But yeah, most of their stuff is available in New York State and more specifically Western New York. If you ever come to the area, check them out. They have some great coffee there, but they also have some great beer and food. I've been there a couple times and it's a nice spot. So anyway, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. If you've ever had any kind of like cola sour or cola beer in general, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about them. I think it's a cool concept, but I think I would rather have this just be like a regular Berliner Weiss or just a regular sour that's not heavily fruited to see how the flavors would work with a better or appropriate body and mouthfeel. But as is, it was a damn fun beer. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. Check back next Wednesday for another installment. I think I'm going to do a froth beer, but it's not going to be one of their liquid lollipops. It's be one of their hop forward beers. That's a rarity for me, but I saw one pretty fresh. I grabbed it. We're going to review it. Anyway, 6% too. You can't taste it, and that's the beauty about a lot of these 5, 6, 7% heavily fruited sours. You don't know they have alcohol because they might not, but I'm pretty sure they do. Anyway, to the next one. Cheers.